Is government policy pricing you out of a house, and have inflation and interest rates made prices soar to the point that you can't afford a home? I'm Grant Burch, a realtor and residential lifestyle consultant in Houston, Texas. And today I'm going to touch base on a couple of articles that I've read recently that may help shed some light on your concerns. I read an article recently in the Houston Chronicle that stated that single-family housing prices jumped to $436,000 on average. That's an 11% increase, and according to the Chronicle, that's the second highest mark of all time. I'll link that article down below. A lot of people have been really confused by the local and nationwide news, so here's a couple of things that I think it's important to keep in consideration if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in Houston, Texas. The article stated that the real estate market is starting to steady after 2 years of rapid growth. And it's true, we have seen 2 years of very solid growth here in Houston. It assumes that the rapid growth is ending because demand is decreasing. But really, when you look at supply and demand, there's two different causes. Resale home inventory is created when new homes are built, and those existing homes are sold for people to move into the new ones. When the pandemic started, builders found it very difficult to get the lumber, sheetrock, and other supplies they needed to build houses, not to mention the fact that people were not coming to work to build them. With no new houses coming to the market, resale was the only option for people who needed to make a move at that point, and inventory was snapped up quickly, especially for the most desirable listings. Here's one way to look at the consistency of demand here in Houston. Penske Rentals, who rents one-way trucks into Houston for the moving market, noted that Houston was the #1 destination for truck rentals during that period of time. This says to me that demand is still solid, but we're not seeing sales volume because there's no inventory for people to buy. That's starting to ease up a little bit as builders are building again and putting new homes on the market. They can only build so fast, and there are still limits to supplies to this day, and that's likely to continue. When you look at interest and inflation, those do have effect on housing prices, especially inflation. As the price of new houses go up, more people turn to resale. Interest rates don't directly affect the price of houses. The price of a house is what the seller will sell it for and what the buyer will pay. While that may be affected slightly by interest rates, generally the price is not affected. Interest rates do increase the overall cost of housing. Price plus interest expense makes cost. A lot of the news talks about real estate sales volume. That really only matters to realtors. What you care about as a seller or buyer is what's the price of the house? What's it going to cost me at the end of the transaction? The article said that Houston was returning to a balanced market. Well, I'm not 100% sure of that. A balanced market is 6 months of supply. Right now, we're sitting on a little less than 3 months of supply in Houston. And while the supply may be increasing as builders bring new homes to the market, builders are still not building at the rate they were prior to the pandemic. Before I tell you what I make of all this, please help me out with a like, a share, or a comment. And if you really want more content like this, hit the subscribe button down below. So here's the gist. The nationwide media does not reflect the unique strength of Houston's housing market. People are moving to Texas for jobs, climate, and cost of living, and all of that bodes well for Houston. My previous video highlights why the 80s bubble just doesn't exist today and why Texas tends to be insulated from the depths of nationwide recessions. I'll put that in the comments below as well. So if you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in real estate anywhere in the Houston market, talk to your realtor before you make a move. If I can help, give me a call, text, or message. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.